amane ba yen sakafu ya Accra High Court echirem enedua yi a High Court issue bench warrant say NPP amayeko no wom dwentreni a wono ewo Asante Mantemu Bernard Ntwibu asiakwa etafra chema Wontumi no sabre de wo mokɔkyere no na wo mofa ne mbra na denji no mokɔkyere chema Wontumi a yenyire nim say chema Wontumi no ana no October bosom de to so wa fimpinu ne aduonu enumu ana chema Wontumi sabre no nkodi sensemme ewo court Accra High Court man bill na bill a wo de man no 15 million Ghana cedis and after wo de three sureties asase bo ni tiri so na ne nyina aye chema Wontumi and afa akonta mining company limited wa wonsen sema wo mo kyese fam gudi tro Basabasa wo makotu asa kwa ibrentuo e watoye mantemu a na chema Wontumi ene ne manfoi wo mo so bom mu a na nya asam keto akora ene nam so mawiase sensan funti na court dance wo no wo mo tabiri na wo mo de kokko gina court na court na esanka ne okokko gina court ene wo mo kyerem so wo fra asem na chema Wontumi wo mo twene a chema Bernard Ntwibu asiako na why din Bernard Ntwibu asiako why din just absent wam ye ya na chema Wontumi wanko enti nam so ema court asese wam kwa kire ye chema Wontumi na mo fa me do ma mechechem senti a ende anase ye so court na Wontumi anko asebu e ba ye no enam so ema bante ba ko di akotere e MPP amayeko ni mu a na hotadin e de koka woni sanchofo di nkomo afa ho na sei e no kan ye.
We are in court. Wontumi got here 7:30. You all saw him when Wontumi got here. You bloggers, you saw him. You wanted to come talk to me, and he said he was waiting for his lawyer. You go inside, says here, you won't say Joy News. I a news card, echo round say you issue bench warrants. But Wontumi and then the lawyer, what damn was here courtroom 4. How much was here? So say so I'm a court. What you was here? Into mistake be I think say it has to be rectified. It is untrue. He's in the courtroom. Odu has 7:30. No on any judge, the lawyers in him say court session at 10 o'clock. Into your ball 9:45 and you move court talk. Into your courtroom force is here. Into say I have to say I am wondering who is peddling that falsehood. And it's on by Yowaha. Many Janana who say one of the Attorney General's assistants in the Barcos, you know, say honorable. We are done with the court sitting. The judge has issued a bench warrant for Wontumi not appearing in court. But Wontumi is in court. Oko courtroom 4 ha. Inti me urge mu mo mo de anko courtroom 4 na mo kwese Wontumi nti wa.
Exact time ben over the man.
Or 10 o'clock. But you saw us here. We saw nyina wa han. We were here.
You were here before 10.
Yes, yeah. You bedu at 7:30. And you call courtroom was 9:45. Inti owaha Nikani, he has been here. The whole place I am. Obenya prime parking say. No. Oh, na some more courtroom. See and we who judge in this anno. They will still lawyers know they will go through the process. But we just wanted the 9:45. And Owaha Nikani, he has been here. The whole place I am. Obenya prime parking say. No. Oh, na some more courtroom. See and we who judge in this anno. They will still lawyers know they will go through the process. But we just wanted the general public to know so Wontumi is in court or has here.
Eti ani ekwokotie ye abante bakọ wodi akotene e wa MPP amayeko mu a Bernard Ntwibu asiakwata board mrane Fred chema Wontumi wokoko pie mu e wo court no ewura na abonkyere mu dia kire se sade na mframam na nipa bi ka se ye chema Wontumi ye issue bench warrant e wa Accra High Court so ye nkire no ne sanse wa court no wa kire se no kura bia da nim chema Wontumi wo court a wo bi opa bia wa court sesi a koka na eka wo se chema Wontumi e wo hono sesi anya.
Dedwasar is joining us from court with a bit more on this story. Lord, what else can you report?
Well, it has been an interesting day in court, drama basically, because when the case was called, Chief State Attorney from the prosecution side sought explanation from the court as to why Chema Wontumi and then his lawyers were absent when the proceedings began. But the presiding judge in the matter asked them to focus on the business today, which was supposed to be the CMC, Case Management Conference. Now, the prosecutor indicated that they were supposed to have filed some disclosures, but due to some challenges, for example, she indicated that one of the witnesses was out of the jurisdiction, and so they couldn't get the witness to sign off on their witness statement, for which reason the whole filing of disclosures had delayed. Now, afterwards, the presiding judge indicated that the court was issuing a bench warrant for the arrest of Wontumi because he was absent without reason. He hadn't notified the court as to why he was absent together with his lawyer, and then the case was adjourned. Now, shortly after the case was adjourned, we noticed or that Chairman Wontumi came in the presence of his lead counsel, Andy Apiakubi. They strode into the court. They seemed a bit confused as to what was happening because they were communicated to that the case had been heard, it had been adjourned, and then there was a bench warrant on his client. So they quickly filed an application to be reheard, and once the judge came out of her chambers, he first of all apologized to the court and indicated that the fault was his because there had been a miscommunication. He indicated that he told Wontumi that the case was going to be heard at 10 a.m. and that was the reason why they came to the court around 9:50 something. Now the judge indicated that regardless of what the situation was, at the last time they were in court, when he was granted the bail, no time was given for when the hearing would start. And so the judge was expecting that they would be in court at 9 a.m. So that's the time that normally hearings begin. And that's why the warrant was issued for his arrest. But after considering what the lawyer for Wontumi said, she rescinded the bench warrant for his arrest and then added some warnings to him that he's supposed to be present in court at all times, regardless of whether he is with his lawyer or not, because he's the accused person and the person of interest and not his lawyer. And so the case has been adjourned to November 4, Kemini, and when we turn up in court on November 4, we'll be finding out if the prosecution had filed their disclosures, and then we'll continue from there.
Very well, Lord. Thank you so much for...
The Minister for Finance, Dr. Kwesi Latoforson, has credited the recent of the Ghana cedis to government's commitment to fiscal discipline and prudent economic management. Speaking at the Ghana Cedi at 60 celebration held at the International Conference Center, Dr. Kwesi Latoforson noted that the stability of the national currency is a reflection of sound fiscal policies and renewed focus on responsible public spending. He highlighted that measures such as enhance the revenue mobilization, rationalize expenditure, and tighter monetary coordination have attributed significantly to restoring confidence in local currency.
From the days of our first republic throughout our history and to the 33 years of our uninterrupted democracy, the cedi remains resilient. It has been our medium of exchange, facilitating trade, transactions, and connecting our people. For 60 years, through cycles of inflation, devaluation, redenomination, and recovery, the cedi remains the symbol of our national sovereignty. It has indeed endured. It has evolved and remains the only legal tender of our dear republic. Madam Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this anniversary marks a new dawn for the Ghana cedi. The theme for the cedi, 60 years of the cedi, the symbol of our sovereignty, stability, and economic resilience, could not have been more apt. This theme underscores the need for all of us to have faith in our dear currency, the Ghana cedi. As managers of the economy, we have remained steadfast in our duty to ensure a strong cedi and a very stable currency. Our commitment to fiscal discipline has contributed to the strengthening of the Ghana cedi. I want to use this opportunity to commit that the government of Ghana remain committed, and we shall stay the course to ensure that the Ghana cedi remains stable and gains, as we have seen, are being maintained. As citizens, we have a role to play. And let me repeat this. As citizens, we also have a role to play. We must maintain the sanctity of the cedi as a legal tender by preserving it with dignity and protecting it jealously.
That's the Minister for Finance, Dr. Kwesi Latoforson, adding her voice. The Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, called for the protection of the independence of the central bank.
Furthermore, we must protect the independence of the central bank. The Bank of Ghana must remain a steward of stability. We must uphold the legal tender status of the cedi. Today, must be able to transact in cedis. Let me acknowledge the role of the Ministry of Finance under Dr. Kwesi Latoforson and the Bank of Ghana under the Governor Dr. Johnson Esiama, and all the generals, acknowledge all of you. Through tight monetary policy and engagement with the public, the bank has helped. We must commend their regulation of virtual access service providers and promotion of fintech innovations and rollout of this ECD, which I'll touch on shortly. I encourage the Bank of Ghana to work more closely with businesses, banks, and innovators to make it easier to transact in cedi at home, online, and across borders. Ladies and gentlemen, restoring confidence in the cedi is also a national responsibility. We must teach each other through civic education, schools, public media campaigns, that the strength of a currency is both what it buys and what it represents. The cedi is as strong as the institutions and people who protect it. Furthermore, the Ministry of Finance must uphold fiscal responsibility. Parliament must exercise thoughtful oversight. The private sector must ground its operations in discipline. Academia should generate data and insights. The media must educate. And all this should be happening while we, the citizens, spend, save, speak with prudence.
Thus, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman.